Lots of foundations we're trying lately. Today, we're trying out the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Foundation. And I know what you're thinking, but wait a minute. Don't we already have one of those that's been around? Yes, it has. Apparently, this is a redo, kind of a new formula on it. So I'm really curious about what it's like and how it's different from the OG. So if you want to see me review it, try it on, we're going to talk about it. And I've got a couple other things, especially her new lip masks. I'm so excited to try. Stick around and we're going to dive right on into it. And welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm Cher, and I do a lot of different reviews. Charlotte Tilbury is one I do love a lot of her things. I am an affiliate, so I do have a code. Just to give you that disclaimer, I make commission and all that. I don't get PR from her, but I'm a Magic Beauty star, which means whatever you buy with my code, I do make commission. But I tend towards her brand a lot. First of all, I'm a luxury girl, but also she is a cruelty-free brand, and I am cruelty-free on my channel, so I like to support the very few luxury brands that actually are cruelty-free. There are very few of them, of the luxury folks. So, and I love so many of her products. Yeah, so I can't resist. So I was so curious about the foundation when I heard she was launching this one. I had to try it out. Now, I've already done my skincare, so I am moisturized right now. I am going to go ahead and put on a primer too. I want to let you know that. I'm going to do it off camera though. I have gotten comments about like, why do you put stuff on your face first if you're doing a foundation review? I am going to go ahead and address that now. For me, I always wear a foundation with a primer. I'm going to wear something under, and I'm going to moisturize my face. I don't put a foundation on a dry, crusty face. And that is the proper way of doing foundation. And I have done, you know, a lot of freelance makeup. And so, I mean, I would never put foundation on a client with no primer or skincare first. So I want to be consistent with how I would actually wear my foundation. And that is kind of how I approach my reviews. So, because I feel like it's going to be inconsistent if I'm trying something out without doing it how I would normally do my makeup, right? So I am going to put a primer on real quick. All right, I did go ahead and put my primer on, and beyond that, we're gonna go straight in, and we'll talk about the shade ranges and other things about it, but we'll talk as we're going along. I want this to be a quicker video today. I picked up the shade for neutral. I'm a neutral skin type. I'm also sorry, guys. People are doing their lawns outside, and I can only film when I can film, so I can't control the noises. I apologize. But anyway, I'm a neutral skin tone, and I tend to be fairly light, but I'm not like the lightest, so I usually go with like light to medium, somewhere in there. So 4 neutral is the shade. I'm gonna go straight in putting it on my hand first. If you are familiar with the OG, this is a pretty matte one. So it's not one of my favorites for me, but it is a favorite for pro makeup. Here's kind of the finish just on the hand. It is absolutely beautiful in general. We're gonna do that first swipe. How's that look? I'm using BK Beauty Brush 101, one of my favorites for foundation. This is one that's really good for blending it into the skin well. It's a pretty dense brush, so I'm putting it on one side of the face too, just so we can compare to the other without it at first, and then we'll blend it all in. And I go in usually with more like stippling motions, but you can also on a lot of foundations kind of like swirl it too to blend it. This one definitely feels just like the OG to me. Very thick. You can just see like it's just going on like this thick blanket. Now, I can't remember if this one was full coverage. I feel like it is. Like you can see that coverage. Holy wowzers, right? So it's always been a very like really good coverage and excellent foundation for like photography, for weddings and events and whatnot. So it is definitely a top foundation for like, you know, pro makeup. One that I highly, you know, recommend because it's very consistent in photography. Even, see how even that is on the face there? But what was always a struggle with the OG was it was very matte. And, you know, for mature skin like mine that's pretty dry, it's just not always a favorite. So I think what's reformulated in this one is it's supposed to be a little bit more like lighter weight, supposedly. Yeah, this says weightless full coverage. So full coverage is what it's supposed to be. And I'm not going to say it's lightweight. Do I think it's lighter weight than the OG though? I think it is. I feel like this one might be slightly more moisturizing than the OG, but it still does have a very, like, it goes on and it just goes on. It does not really blend and melt into the skin. It is like a blanket on the skin. It is beautiful. I do feel like this one's just a little bit more moisturizing than the other one. That is my take on it. Yeah. Still beautiful, but I'm gonna argue on the lightweight part. I don't think it's lightweight. All right, let's do the other side. All right, so you can see automatically, this is always my problem spot right here, and that just covered it beautifully. I barely even had to touch it, and it's like, that spot's gone. So it's still incredible for your full coverage. Beautiful, like just consistent blanket. Yeah, it's gorgeous. But it's not a lightweight formula in my opinion. I just feel like it's not drying down as much though. So I have to say it's kind of the best of both worlds in my opinion, other than I don't feel like it's lightweight. It definitely feels a little thick to me still. I'm gonna have to do a wear test for you though and see if it's truly long wearing like the OG is, if it holds up well throughout the day. And if I still feel like, even despite the fact that it might feel a little bit more hydrating, a little less matte and caking, does it still perform well as far as the longevity goes? Now, let's talk about the shade ranges really quickly, because this is one thing that honestly, Charlotte Tilbury, if there is a critique of her, it is in her shade ranges sometimes. She really, a lot of her stuff is great for like fair skin tones, but I don't know that it's always as inclusive of the deeper skin tones. And I think some have struggled to find the right shade for them. So let's see if she's expanded her shades. It looks like in this one we've got 44 shades. So with hers, it's interesting. She has different levels of depth in the skin tones, right? So, you know, you can start off with your very fair, which is typical. You're going to usually start with a fair, and then you're going to have maybe like your lights, and then build up to like medium, then to your tan, and then to deeper. So let's start up at the deep though. We have like 17, and the only range in there is going to be a cool or a neutral. And I do have to say that sometimes with deeper skin tones, it's kind of hard to go with a neutral, because a neutral can tend to look a little ashy with deep skin tones. So you got to be careful with those. I mean, you having the options good, but like you need a warm option too. There's not a warm in the 17. There's also not a warm in the 16. It's cool, neutral, cool, neutral. You get down to 15, and now you have a neutral and a warm, but you have no cool. In a 14, you have a neutral and a cool. In a 13, you have a warm, a neutral, and a cool. So you're getting the option for all three in some ranges, like some depths, but not all of them. So it seems like it almost kind of skips a lot of warm tones up at the top, up at the deeper skin tones. I mean, that 17 neutral is probably the deepest of all of the shades. So that's your like most deep skin tone. But if you're not that exact like neutral color, that might not come off so well on you. I feel like that could be ashy. I'm for neutral, so that's saying that I'm fair, and I'm not usually fair. Is this a good skin tone match? It's pretty good. I don't feel like it's super oxidized too much. You know, I feel like it is starting to take on that slight greenness that I get with some neutrals. But no, I mean, it's a pretty good match for me, but it's called fair. So keep that in mind. Because I would usually go for the light is what you would call me. But there are some fair that are much cooler than me. So in the lightest complexions in fair, like in the 1s or 2s, you've got a neutral and a cool. But you don't have a warm until you get to number 2. You got a 3 that has a cool, neutral, and warm, and then you have the 4 that has a cool, neutral, and warm. But the fairest people don't have a warm tone option. And I mean, you do tend to see that be the case, that usually when you're really, really fair, you're cool tone, but you still might want a warm option. I mean, there could be someone who's just really, really pale, but they're still a little warm toned. I don't know. So I feel like there could be some missing gaps in here, to be honest. Let's look at it compared to the OG foundation. So I think that the past one had 44 shades as well. I think it was a lot of the same shades and ranges. I don't think they have changed a whole lot as far as the shades go. So there is that. It's from reviews I've seen, a lot of people say there are plenty of shade ranges. It's been tested on like 650 models, I guess, to get the inclusivity right. So if you compare it to, say, like Pat McGrath's, I mean, Pat McGrath in the Sublime, she's only got, what, 36 shades? But she does tend to have like a red undertone one, a neutral, and more of like an olive for each level. So it's pretty clear. So it's like, and I think we know, you know, and Pat McGrath is definitely somebody who is going to be like deep skin tone friendly. Having deep skin herself, she understands it, I think, better than someone like me who's has a light complexion. I'm probably going to develop things for what I know, you know what I mean? So you got probably more shade ranges, more options with the Charlotte Tilbury line, but within each level, you don't have that standard undertone to look for in each one. So I feel like it might be confusing because of that, if that makes sense. So it's not like a clearly laid out, like this is absolutely for this level of depth and in this undertone, you know? So it doesn't make it quite as clear, and that may be part of it. The ranges may be there, but it might just be confusing and harder to find your exact match. It might be something that you need to match in store. So that's kind of my take on it, if that makes sense. All right, I'm gonna try a couple other things. So we're gonna test out the lip mask really quick. I'm so excited about this. I love the quilted look to it. It really reminds me a lot of like the YSL quilted, like, you know, the blushes, like the packaging on it, but I'm just so drawn to that. The packaging is what it's all about. And I'm a lip mask junkie, so I had to. Now I ordered 2 of these. I ordered in both like little shades, but one of them ended up being sold out, but I forgot that I had ordered the other one and it was not sold out. So I did still get this one. And so that is what it looks like. We're going to take a spatula and try it out. Okay, we're going to give it a shot. Feels good and smells good. Kind of has like a bubblegum smell to it. Or taste. So this is called the Pillow Talk Life-Changing Lip Mask. I love how she's so dramatic in her labels on everything. It has a lip lift technology and cushioning ceramides. And this one says it's Pillow Talk Fresh Glow Vanilla. So I guess the scent is vanilla. I mean, yeah, I could see that, like the smell of it. It almost has more of the bubblegummy taste though to me, or like bubblegum flavor. Like it smells and tastes amazing. Yeah, it's definitely feels so good. I feel like it's has a slight bit of like silkiness to it also. Feels great. It's not like sticky and gross, but it's like silky and smooth, but very moisturizing. So I definitely love it. So I had to try those out. All right, I am going to put a little other makeup on, do some under eyes, and we will come back in and try out the liquid lipstick that came for free with it. And maybe have like a full face of makeup so you can see how the foundation is sitting under the makeup. It's still just beautiful, isn't it? It is absolutely stunning. So I think I do like this formulation better, but we'll see after the wear test too. Here's how it's looking so far. And then I'm gonna come back on top of all of that with her Flawless Finish on powder on top, just a little bit across like my under eyes. Charlotte Tilbury is in her powders also. Beautiful. Isn't that gorgeous? But I'm only going to kind of put my powder a little bit along in here and in like places where like the T-zone and that kind of thing. I'm not going to really set the rest of my foundation much with it because I want to see how the foundation really performs on its own, but I do tend to come in here and kind of smooth things out in the center of the face. Okay, so then we're just going to try out her liquid lip that came as like a bonus with my order. Okay, I do already own the shade. So I'm actually, even though I opened the box a little bit, I'm going to put this in my giveaway probably. I'm going to use the one that I already own so that maybe I can do a giveaway with that one. But here is... And I actually kind of like this one. It's like, it's a liquid lip, but it's very moisturizing. So, all right, so here is our finished look with some makeup on. And that gives you a feel for how it does with the makeup. I think it looks so beautiful. I mean, it is described perfectly. It's flawless. It is flawless, isn't it? Absolutely gorgeous. So we're going to see how it holds up though. That is the biggest thing. I feel like this one is less cakey. Like I feel like it is so smooth, but flawless at the same time. Full coverage and just beautiful. Just beautiful. So the biggest test is going to be that wear test. So I'll report back to you tonight. All right, guys, let's take a look at it, see how everything did today. I am filming right now at about 7 o'clock at night. The sun is still out a little bit, so I've got like a tiny bit of natural light going on in here still, but I'm sure the lighting has changed a little since this morning when I filmed. I was filming at about 10 this morning, so it's been 9 hours, so about 9 hours of wear. And oh my gosh, I gotta tell you, it has held up phenomenally. It is stunningly beautiful, stunningly beautiful. Now, I will say it's getting cakey in here. Now, I didn't put a whole lot of foundation in here though, right? This is concealer and powders. The foundation itself, wow. You know, like it could be in the cracks just the slightest bit here, but it is still there. And do you see like this smooth, beautiful finish? I do tend to get like slightly oily at the end of the day, right in here. And I can see like the tiniest bit. For the most part, I don't have my typical shine. Like, it's weird. I have dry skin, but I'll still get like the slight bit of like T-zone oiliness at the end of the day, you know? No, I don't have hardly any of that. It is just... My makeup right now looks like when I first put it on usually. Now all my other makeup's kind of faded, like the bronze, that cream bronze I put on top of this, that was hers also, it has faded some. My blush has faded a little bit. I did retouch up my lips, by the way, and like my brows are fading some, but the base is still there and it looks so fresh as if I had applied it just now. Like, it looks incredible. I did not put on any setting spray because I wanted to see how it hold up without the setting spray. No setting spray. And the only places where I put powder was right in here. I did not put any powder like anywhere else. So, wow. I gotta say, Charlotte, darling, you did an amazing job. Amazing. I feel like she took everything that was such a beautiful foundation. Like, it was already a beautiful foundation and wonderful, like, for my clients, you know, especially like oily skin clients. And she took everything I ever had a complaint about and she improved it and made it to where now it is perfect for me. It is like, it is transformed and it is perfect. Other than the fact that it's definitely not lightweight like it claims to be. It claims to be weightless. It's not weightless. But I don't expect a full coverage foundation to be weightless. Let's be real. So, I mean, that is just stunning. It's still full coverage today after 9 hours of wear, guys. Like, this might be my new foundation. Definitely might be the foundation for clients when I go back to doing pro makeup. This might be the one. It might just be. So incredible. And I feel like I feel like it's more universal now as far as skin types go, because I think it's going to be good for oily skin. You're not a grease ball. It's holding up, but then it's not like super cakey and dry like it kind of used to be for the drier skin folks. For a really dry skin person, you may want to mix it a little bit with another, you know, more luminous foundation too, if you would like just a little more hydrating. But it's really not terribly drying. It's perfect. It's perfect. It's chef's kiss. Darling Charlotte, you nailed it, girl. So I'm so happy. This is wonderful. All right, guys. So that wraps it up for today. Yeah, I'm blown away. This is fantastic. So to the old OG. I think this is the winner. All right, guys, if you want to see more reviews from me, more pro makeup we're going to be doing and makeup tips and all the fun. I do a lot of curations though too, beauty boxes. Big in beauty advent calendar season right now. We've been doing a lot of beauty advent calendar content. All the fun you don't want to miss. You want to pop the subscribe. I'm going to catch you guys all in the next one. Bye.